What is up? What's up? What's up? Hi, everyone. I hope you guys had a chance to watch Before the 90 Days. Reality Dude, what's up? Before the 90 Days, it just went off. I watched it on Max, so it actually went off like almost an hour ago for me. What's up, Paul? Paul, I'm in Florida, by the way. I don't know if you know that. I'm in Florida. What's up, everybody? Hope y'all are having a great weekend, the end of your weekend. We're about to talk some 90 Day. DeeDee's here, finally. Portuguese princess. Appreciate that. Glad you're here. So Kara's gonna be here later. She had to work late. So Kara's gonna join us later. Hi. Hello.
How are y'all doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing well.
I hope everybody is having a good end to your weekend. Kara's gonna be here a little later. She had to work late, so she's finishing up the episode now. So we're gonna get started and talk about what happened today. First of all, Misha and Nicola weren't on. Ty and Carmela / Christian were not on, and Amanda and Razvan weren't on. So I feel like we were like cheated, right? Like a lot of people were not on. But yes, we did meet Statler, and there's a lot to break into with Statler. Like I feel like I like her a lot. Like I feel like she's someone that I would hang out with. But there's like so many red flags that I've seen with Statler in her little introduction. Like I don't. Oh, DeeDee's here. Before we get started, not DeeDee, Kara's here. Kara's here. We're gonna let Kara join in before we jump in because I have so much to dig in with Statler and Dempsey. Not so much Dempsey. We don't even know Dempsey yet, so I'm not gonna like judge Dempsey like that. But with Statler, I got a lot to say. Hey.
Hey, I'm having technical difficulties. It's fine. Everything's
That's
fine.
okay. It's okay. We're just getting started.
What is happening?
Wait, you're upside down. I didn't even know you could be upside down.
It's been a long day.
I heard. Well, I'm glad you're here.
I'm here.
We just got started.
All right.
We literally just got here. So you didn't miss nothing. We were just talking about who wasn't on because, Misha and Nicola weren't on. Ty and Carmela / Christian weren't on. And Amanda and Razvan weren't on. Oh, but I want to talk about one thing real quick. I posted on my story earlier. Razvan posted a post saying that he was looking for people that wanted to join his personal training sessions. And the phone number in the post is a Daytona Beach, Florida phone number. So I'm confused because he was in Romania, as far as I know. They weren't even really engaged yet. So I was a little confused. I posted it, and he replied to it, and he didn't really say any yes or no or what was going on. He just said, hey, thanks for the repost or whatever. So I'm kind of curious. Hey, Judy. I'm kind of curious what you guys think is going on. Do you think that he's in the United States? Or do you think he's using, like, one of those apps that you can use a phone number from anywhere? Like, what's the deal with that?
I think if he's in the United States, he's with somebody that's not Amanda.
Well, right.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, Amanda's from Louisiana. So in order for him to be in Florida, in Daytona Beach, unless Amanda has relocated, I don't know if she did or not, but I know that she's from Louisiana, and it didn't sound like when she was on the show she had any plans of moving to any other state. So I'm really interested in knowing what the deal is with that. Portuguese Princess says she thinks it's just a texting app. I mean, that could be. Like, you could use a texting app so you can get, like, a U.S. phone number. Maybe he wants to do virtual.
I think
so.
Didn't he say somewhere in there a couple episodes ago that he had, like, a work visa or something? Or a visitor's visa?
Well, yeah, but you can't personal train, right? You can't work. Wait, is it a work visa or a visitor's visa?
I don't know.
I thought he said
I don't know. It's all he said. He was working on his visa.
Yep.
Is all he said. So yeah.
Maybe he's here and he's working.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have to be with Amanda if he's working because it's a work visa.
Because she was upset that he had that in the works before she even got over there. And
right.
He said, he was working on this before all of this, and she was kind of offended that it wasn't all about her. Surprise.
Right.
Yeah,
so
but you can be anywhere and have like I live, in the town that I live in, I don't have a phone number for my town. I mean, it's a Georgia area code, but it's like a different town.
Oh,
And I know someone who lives in Georgia, and their phone number is I think it's a Ohio number.
Yeah.
I mean, so you can pretty much choose any number you want. So.
yeah, that's true too. Because I used to live in Ohio, so now that I live in Florida, I didn't want to change my number because I had the same number for going on a decade.
Yeah.
So it was not an option for me. So now every time I give my number to someone, they're like, "Where are you from?"
Yeah.
That's not a Florida number. So yeah, that's true too. So we might be reading a little more into it than it is. It could be something simple like that. But when I saw that, it caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting it. I was like, where are the, the pluses and the extra zeros and the country codes for Romania? That's a Florida.
Right.
All right, so
it could be a texting app as well. It could be.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people replied to me and said. They were like, "Oh, well, you can download those apps," and they ask you where you want the number to be, so you pick that. So maybe he picked like Florida because Miami, Florida. A lot of people that work out. If he wants to do online sessions, you would get a lot more response from somewhere, Muscle Beach. Isn't that in Florida? That's just what people do there.
Yeah.
So. It could be, we might be reading more into it than we should, or we might not be, and there's something there.
Yeah.
We're going to figure it out either way.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about Statler. So I know we do first impressions. So I was saying my first impression was I really like her. I feel like she's spontaneous. She's had sex in church, during church, which I think is insane. But I'm religious. I'm not religious. I grew up very religious, so I know how forbidden that would be. So I don't know. I like her spontaneity, but I also feel like there's a lot of red flags because as she was telling us less than a year ago that she was doing this exact same thing with a different woman. So I feel like there's a lot of red flags here, but I want to know how you ladies feel.
I feel like she's just very immature.
Okay. I can see that. I
see a lot of red flags.
Yeah.
A lot of red flags. And she's not scared to say what's on her mind, and sometimes that's a bad thing. Sometimes it's a good thing, but sometimes that's a bad thing. And the way she was talking tonight, that was a lot of TMI. So we didn't need to hear all that.
That was a lot, and I know she wanted to make it seem like we could understand that she's a free spirit. But there's just a lot. And the fact that she moves so fast and she has plans to move in with this woman and this woman doesn't know. And it was ringing a lot of immaturity to me because I was like, you have to be mature. You have to have these conversations. You don't just get there and say, oh, by the way, I like you, so I'm going to sell all my shit and I'm going to come live with you. Like, that's a conversation that you have before you get there. Like, hey, if things go well, do you see us going towards living in the same country, in the same town, in the same place? Don't just say, oh, I'm going to get there, and then if it's going well in 2 weeks, I'll move back and sell myself. No, that's not how you spring that information on someone. Even if they love you and things are going well, she moves so fast. And I think her friend said it best. She was like, you got to slow down and just live in the moment.
Especially because she just made the same mistake less than a year ago, she said.
Right.
So
how can you be in love, think you're going to get married, and go live with someone, then a year later doing the exact same thing with another person?
Yeah.
Like, how is that even possible? You can fall in love with two different people in less than a year and have the same plan. It's almost like she's inserting different people into her plan. Like, the plan has always been to move to the UK. She just has to find the woman that she can insert into the plan and not give her a problem with it, like not fight her on it. And that's scary.
There was a part of me that felt, excuse me, felt kind of sorry for her because when she was saying how she's never been wanted and she's, adapted to bugs because nobody notices them, nobody likes them, and that's just like her. At first I was like, this poor thing, like she's got a lot of, emotional issues. Yeah. But then as she got talking, I was like, it's no freaking wonder people have distanced themselves. Like, you're stressing me out. I'm about to distance myself.
Yeah, it's a lot. And like you said, she feels like she doesn't deserve to be loved. And I felt like that. We've seen that with Jasmine too. And I was like, I don't know why these women feel this way. And it's, it's probably emotional damage from the past. Because you can be beautiful, you can have so much going for you, and they just don't feel inside that they deserve to be loved. They deserve that happiness, and then they end up putting themselves in, situations like this, you know, they end up
Yeah.
chasing behind someone that's not really the right person for them, but they'll try to make it work because they feel like this might be their only option for love, their only option for happiness. And I don't want her to feel that way. She's beautiful, she's spontaneous, she's fun. Like I was like, when I was listening to her talk, I was like, we would hang out. Like she's really fun. She's a person that I'll probably go out and get into a lot of trouble with. You know, like that's the type of friends that I love. But the fact that she tries to make it seem like love is something that she has to make weird, crazy, off-the-wall decisions to get in. I don't like that for her. You don't have to do anything crazy to find the one that you can love.
I was literally watching that thinking, if I had that restaurant and I could take one person with me, who do you think I would take? Hell yeah, I'd take DeeDee.
I would be there.
Right?
I'd have some explaining to do.
Yeah, you would have to have a lot. Yeah, you would have to explain a lot of stuff to me because I'd be like, what the hell is this?
It's fine. I got you.
So
oh my goodness.
So she's gonna go there to meet Dempsey for the first time. Oh, Dempsey has been in Thailand with her dad for like a month. Do we believe that? Like, do we believe that she's been in Thailand? And because she's like, I don't never talk to her anymore because she's in Thailand. Pretty sure phone service works in Thailand too, right?
Yeah.
Like, how do we feel about that story? Because I was like, I don't know, my eyebrow raised a little bit because I was like, yeah, I've been to other countries, I've been to other states, and I've done stuff for work and personal. I still reached out to the people that I wanted to reach out to.
Yeah.
So how do we feel about that?
I don't know. We haven't got to actually meet Dempsey yet. So I don't know if she's trustworthy or not, but from what I'm getting and her unable to get on the connecting flight, I don't know. So,
I know. I'm seeing red flags.
I mean, it's a possibility she's in Thailand. I mean, it's a possibility, you know, but like you just said, you know, my eyebrow raised just a little bit, like, if she's with her dad, why isn't she at least, you know, at least once a day? I get it, you're hanging out with family, but at least like when you're done with your day, before you go to bed, you know, like a quick text or FaceTime or whatever, you know, but this is from every day to once in a while. It's not even an everyday thing. So yeah, that's a huge red flag. Something's going on. And then her not even showing up for her flight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. See, it's weird for me because they've never met. So like when you go from talking all the time to them saying something happened and then communication dies down, I always think of the show Catfish. I watch Catfish. You know, at its height, that's the #1 reason that Catfish give you when they can't call you and they've moved on to the next person or whatever. So like, oh, something happened and now I'm not able to talk to you anymore as much as I used to. They're kind of moving on to their next target. So when I heard that part of the story, I was like, they went from talking every day, all day, to now maybe once or twice a week. That's a red flag, especially because they haven't met yet. Like if they had met in person, that's not necessarily a red flag because you could verify information. You could verify that she's with her dad. You could verify where she is because you met in person. There's more of a trail, a paper trail, so you could trace the information they give you versus what you know. But since they've never met in person, I was just like, I don't know, you haven't met yet. You have to just believe whatever they say, and a lot of times it's not true. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm worried about it. I don't know if I'm more worried about it for Dempsey or Statler.
Yeah, I'm scared for Dempsey because she doesn't even know this plan of Statler coming there in 2 weeks, deciding if they're going to be together and live together. Like, she doesn't know. Yeah. And, and they're also going to have sex in the airport. I'm pretty sure Dempsey Dolly doesn't know about that either. Yeah. First, airport bathrooms are gross. So, like, I've had to change clothes in the airport because I've landed and then I had to be somewhere right away. Nasty, okay? Nasty. I don't touch nothing. I'm like, no. So the idea, that whole idea just freaked me out because I was like, it's so dirty in there and they clean it, like, twice or 3 times a day, but there's like hundreds of thousands of people. Like, so it's like, it doesn't even matter when they clean it. It's just gross all the time. So please, please, please don't have sex in that bathroom. I don't know what you might leave that bathroom with. Yeah, this might not even be something they've even named yet. It's just something gross. Don't do that.
Yes, I agree. That's bad.
Well, can we address what she also said, that this is not her first time going to England because she was in a relationship before with someone in England, and this is the one that she was going back home to sell everything, pack up, and move to England for. And she called her the day she got back and dumped her.
Yeah.
And now she's wanting to meet her at the airport.
Yeah.
And I just seen a comment on here too that raised a red flag for me too. How is it that they both got the same flight to land at the same time at the airport?
Yeah, that's weird too. I didn't know that was even possible.
I don't think it is.
Yeah, because airports, even bigger airports, only have like 2 or 3 working runways, and one is for takeoffs and one is for landings.
Yeah.
So it's very rare that planes land very close together.
Yeah.
There has to be a certain amount of space in between because of what do you call it, wake turbulence and all these other issues with planes. So the idea they're coming from 2 different sides of the world, they're going to land at the same time at the same airport. It's really, I don't know, I was scratching my head on that too, because I was like, that sounds like something that a catfish would say.
Yes.
Right? That doesn't sound realistic. It just doesn't ever work that way. Like, randomly, you might land within a few hours of someone. Right. That's possible. But, like, at the same time, at the same place, coming from 2 different sides of the world, that's really peculiar to me. So, I don't know. I'm worried on both sides. Because I feel like...
if I'm going to meet someone in their country, and they're not in their country, but they're supposed to meet me in their country, and they can't come, I'm not going. Like, where am I going to go when I get there?
Yeah, and it's like, another thing that's weird is, why is it that she's coming from another country? Because I don't know, I go to the worst case scenario. So I was like, so maybe they don't even live in London.
Yeah.
And they've just been saying that this whole time. So they would have to go to London to meet her to make it true. Yeah. And then she's going to get there and they're never going to show up. I don't know. I go to the worst case scenario. Yeah. I was just thinking, like, there's so many ways this is not going to go right, you know, and I don't know. TLC filmed it, and, you know, so who knows? Maybe it did go right. Maybe something happened. Maybe they have some footage, but we are in episode 6.
Yeah. And
we're just meeting Statler. So that kind of gives me a little information that there's not as much footage of Statler and Dempsey as there is from everyone else that we've met early on in the season. Yeah. So that made me think about that too, because I was like, well, meeting them damn near halfway through the season means that there isn't as much footage of the other couples for these 2, meaning something may have went wrong.
Yeah, I agree. I can't say Dempsey's a catfish. I don't know her. We haven't got to meet her yet.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say that because they have FaceTime.
Yeah.
So we know she's real, but that still doesn't mean that she's not catfishing or lying to Statler. I mean, you know. There's
no way to know if she's really a woman that lives in London.
Yeah.
Because technically she's
anybody can fake a English accent. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, they do it all the time.
Remember the Williams? He was supposed to be from London. I believe he was from Nigeria. Is what we found out.
From Nigeria.
The Williams. Yes. I always go back to the Williams.
Yeah.
No one's first name is Duh. And I'm not exactly sure how Yolanda got past the Duh. Because I was like, first of all, your name is not Duh. Give me a real name. You know, we're not even going to go further until I get a real name. But that's like the first thing that I... But
and not only that, she thought his Nigerian accent was actually London or English or however you want to call the London people accent.
Yeah.
So, I was like, no, that's Nigerian. Yeah.
Most definitely. So we got some time with Riley and Violet. And I know, Kara, you have a lot because I know how you felt about Violet from the start. So we saw the infamous scene tonight where Violet gets a text message from a male friend who sends her shirtless photos. And I had this conversation in my house, actually. We were watching the show, and I was like, I don't have one single friend that sends me pictures of them without them being fully clothed. Like, we FaceTime, we talk. We always have clothes on, okay? Because we're just friends.
Unless you're talking to Scott.
All right, Scott. You know what? Scott does have issues with keeping his shirt on. That is true, and he is a friend of mine. But we have FaceTime. He was wearing a shirt in the FaceTime, actually. Okay. So that even with Scott, someone who probably owns one shirt in his whole house, he still had that shirt on when I was talking to him. And Violet got really defensive when Riley wanted to know who this is. First of all, who this is. Second of all, let me see the photo so I can see. And she kind of did like a shutdown, like, I don't have to show you anything. My life is private. You don't have to know anything about me or what's on my phone. And that's a massive red flag to me, because if it's just your friend and there's nothing going on, show him the damn phone, right?
Yep.
Like, what would be so hard about explaining it? Just let it explain itself. There's absolutely nothing there. Hand him the phone and let him see that and end that doubt in his mind. Once you plant that seed, the seed will grow. That seed of distrust just continues to grow, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So what she did was actually, I don't know, counterproductive for a positive growth in the relationship, because doing it the way she did it and getting so defensive and say, I don't have to show you anything and my life is private, it's none of your business, that's only planting a big seed of distrust. Now, everything that she does, even small, are going to make that seed bigger, and then he's just going to get to the point where he has to hire that private investigator, right?
Yeah.
That's just where it's going.
All of Violet is a red flag. All of it. I mean, she even came out in the red dress today. I was like, there it is. Right there. She's waving it everywhere. That chick, she's hiding so much stuff. But I have to say, I was a little disappointed in Riley. When he shows up at the family's house, if that was really all the family. I mean, I'm not sure where her husband was, because he's somewhere. But he didn't even bring the mom a gift? What the hell?
Yeah, that caught me as really strange, because I know in most cultures, it doesn't really matter what country you're talking. When you go to the house of the woman that you're dating, you bring gifts, but especially the matriarch, the most important person of the family, and it's usually the mother, you bring them a gift first. And usually you ask the child, the woman that you're dating, what's the proper gift culturally to bring. That's like the first thing you do, because he brought a Michael Kors bag. He brought a pair of Jordans. I think some lip gloss for one of the girls. Like, there was all these gifts, nothing for the mom. And even the mom said, she was like, where's my gift? You're here because you want to marry my daughter.
Yeah.
Where's my gift? Like, everybody knows. Like, we've watched 90 Day Fiancé long enough to know you bring gifts to the house. Sometimes you bring water buffaloes, right? You don't just bring gifts, you bring water buffaloes. So where is her water buffalo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and he brought 4 gifts for the 2 girls. There's 4 people. If that was me and I didn't know, I'd have been scrambling, and I would have been like, well, here's a purse for you, Mom, and here's some shoes for you, brother. I would have made it look like I meant to do that, because that just made him look bad.
Yes, very bad.
That and the fact that she told her mom about his temper before he got there.
Yeah.
So I was like, why would you tell your mom the negative traits about him before she meets him? I've always been a firm believer of let people meet people with an open mind. Don't tell them all the negative things about them before they meet. If they have a bad temper, they're going to see that. If they have these negative traits, they're going to see it. Don't like plant that into the person's mind so they have a preconception of who it is before they got there. Because the mom already doesn't like him. I could tell already. Before the no gift even situation, she was like, you would have to change your attitude if you want to be a part of my family. And it's like, I do want to say, though, Riley's attitude is partly just because Violet is a jerk.
Crazy? Yeah.
Right. Okay, so you see it too, right? Violet's just, she's crazy and she's a jerk. And she pushes his buttons and she lies to him. And she I don't know, she called him ugly to the salesperson at the fabric store, and he caught it. And instead of lying, she's like, yeah, I told her that you're old and ugly. Who the hell does stuff like that?
I mean, she pushes my buttons. I can't imagine how Riley feels.
Right.
But that whole...
She introduced him as a friend.
Yeah. An old ugly friend. I'm not making it up. An old ugly friend. This is exactly what she said. And instead of correcting herself to the clerk, she was just like, yeah, that's what I said. You're old. You're ugly. And she plays it off as, I'm just joking. I don't think she is. I think that her attitude and her coldness towards Riley is exactly how she really feels. And I think, Kara, you said it early on. You said that she's seeing lots of different men. Obviously, we know that. We know the shirtless pictures are coming through. But she never thought in a million years that Riley would get on an airplane and go to Vietnam. I think you nailed it. I think the fact that he's there is actually cramping her style.
Absolutely.
And it's putting a wrench in what she does. Because now she's trying to manage all these different men with him being physically there. And I think that's what's irritating her. Because you can tell that she's pretty irritated at his existence. Like the first day, she didn't even want to deal with him because she had other plans, right? Probably with another guy. So she's like irritated because now she has to change everything she has going on because he's now invited himself to Vietnam, right?
Absolutely. It's very obvious that she has several other people lined up.
Mm-hmm. At least 2 or 3.
I wouldn't even be surprised, like, because we already know, the family is behind her. The family knows exactly what she's doing. I would like to know what she had to offer them or what she had to say to them to get them to even go along with this whole fake relationship that she's trying to put on, that she wants. Yeah, money.
Yeah,
We know that. We know the money,
because
but
Riley said he's
gift,
been sending them stuff. Riley's been sending the family stuff for a while now. Not just these gifts that we saw. They are in it for the money and the gifts that he's been sending this whole time.
100%.
Yeah, but there's no telling what all they had to come in agreement on just for them to even sit down at the table with him.
Yep.
Because we all know it's all fake.
Yep.
So you can just imagine. That's probably why the mom was so upset, because she didn't get a gift.
Yeah.
But
Right.
I mean that's just common sense. If you go and you meet in someone, their family, I mean that's just common sense. Take a gift.
Yeah.
No matter where you are.
Yeah, even in American culture, if you're invited to somebody's house for dinner, you bring wine, you bring something to drink, you bring something, you bring bread. Yeah. You don't just show up. I'm from the South. You don't just show up. You bring something with you. Maybe that's how they be doing things in New York or in New Jersey, but I'm from the South. You show up with something. You don't just show up to somebody's house without anything. And that's American culture. People say, oh, Americans don't have culture. We do. We do have some culture. We do stick to some things. We are traditional in some way.
Yep, absolutely. I don't know. I can unwind horribly bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that he should have hired that private investigator before he got on that plane, because she's never going to be honest with him.
It's not
and I think it's become painfully obvious that he has made a massive mistake flying all the way to Vietnam, because there's information that I think the private investigator probably wouldn't even have to investigate longer than a day.
But I think that's still coming, because he's brought it up more than once recently, and the private investigator that he's hiring is there.
Right.
He could have hired someone in the U.S. to look her up and figure things out if he was, if he just wanted to meet with someone, get some ideas. But he hired someone from there. Yeah. So I feel like it's still coming. I think we'll see the PI.
Yeah. He got really excited when the investigator, he was like, would you actually follow her around? And the investigator said, yeah, I'll follow her around, whatever I need to do. And he got excited. He started smiling. He's like, oh, now I can finally know what the hell she's doing when she won't pick up my calls all day. Now I'll actually get some information, because she's never going to tell him anything.
Nope.
When she got so defensive about a photo on her phone, and I was like, so she's never going to be honest. Speaking of phones and photos, David and Sheila had their first night together. Things got graphic. I'm sorry, DeeDee. We're about to get into some graphic stuff right now. I'm really sorry. I know how.
Y'all know I have virgin ears now. Y'all gotta take.
I'll explain.
It's gotta be
later what a banana. I'll explain to you later what a banana and a donut are, DeeDee. Don't worry.
Yes, we'll make sure you understand what happened. But basically, David and Sheila finally had their first night together. It was awkward. They didn't fully consummate the relationship, because as Kara said, the banana would not fit the donut, so they had to do other things, because apparently it's been like years since what's her name, Sheila has been intimate. So this is something they're gonna have to work into. But luckily, Sheila was good with her hands and other orifices. We'll just leave it at that. Or can we say, yeah, let's say orifices. She was good with other orifices, so they were able to do some things. Yes, Pinky, I'm sorry, you joined at a bad time. This is gonna get weird. So they did some things that night, and they were able to somewhat consummate the relationship. But we found out that Sheila is a bit jealous, and she was asking some questions about his ex-girlfriend, who he was reluctant to talk about, because he was like, well, if I tell her everything that I know to say about her, she'll think I'm still in love with her, so I don't want to go down that road. So I feel like jealousy is definitely playing a major role in a lot of these relationships, right? I feel like Oh, David handed Sheila his phone. And that's kind of where we got the jealousy. I got to back up a little bit. So there was a picture of his friend and his friend from school. It's a woman, obviously. And he asked the woman if she had a boyfriend.
Yeah.
And he claims that, oh, well, my friends were interested in her. So I was just, you know, I took one for the team and I asked for them. So I was like, look, David, look, rookie mistake. You want to start the relationship honestly, right? So you go through your phone, and we've watched 90 Day Fiance. People do this. I know Michael from Michael and Angela. He does this. Whenever Angela's going to be landing in Nigeria, he goes through his phone. He deletes all the questionable stuff because he knows that the first thing she's going to do is say, Michael, give me your phone.
Yeah.
So, David, learn from your mistakes. Before you land, you go through your phone and you delete all of the questionable stuff because you want to make it look like you're being super honest, right? You want to hand her your phone. You want to see her phone, so you want to make sure it looks like you guys are both open with each other. You're obviously not. People have secrets. I get it. I'm not faulting you for anything. Like, I don't fault you. I never met her in person. I'm not going there. I'm not the moral police. You know, I'm not going there, but I feel like always, always, always don't make that rookie mistake. Go in there and take anything out that you will think that she might dislike, and you know what that is. If it's
I'm faulting him.
You are?
Yes. You don't use the asking for a friend line. You just don't do that. That's the dumbest thing. You don't ask.
That's like the tiredest line, right? That's the tiredest one.
Yeah.
For a friend, my ass.
Miss Donna's on a roll again tonight.
I know, she's killing me. She is killing me.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to keep a straight face, but Miss Donna's making it hard.
How recent do you think he asked her that? Because she didn't give us a timeline. But she didn't scroll very far.
It had to be pretty recent because, I mean, he had time on the airplane to delete that shit.
Yeah.
You know, he didn't. So, had to be pretty recent.
And he handed her the phone. He was like, do you want to see my phone? I was like, that's like walking up to the police right after you steal something and say, do you want to search my bag?
Yep.
Like, why would you do that? Like, he handed it to her. She didn't ask. She was perfectly fine not looking at his phone. And he's like, do you want to see it? And then she finds stuff. And I'm like, I can't with you right now. Like, honestly, you just set your own self up to get yelled at and cursed out when it wasn't even necessary. She didn't even ask you. I mean, obviously it's going to come up because she's jealous. Oh, wait. I want to ask you both a question. When you're in a relationship, whether serious or married, do you think you have the right to go through your spouse's or boyfriend or girlfriend's phone at any time that you ask? Or do you think that that's private?
I mean, I guess if I had suspicion, I would say, let me see your phone.
Okay.
And, you know, if he said that to me, I would say, just don't open my Amazon, please. That's my business.
To me, it doesn't matter because, you know, I don't have anything to hide. I mean, I'll leave my phone laying around. I mean, I'll switch phones. You wanna hang out with my phone for all day, a couple of days, all week? Go ahead. I ain't got nothing to hide because I'm not like that. Yep. You know what I'm saying? I don't cheat. I don't do that kind of stuff. So it would not bother me at all if he were to randomly come up to me and say, "Hey, can I see your phone?" You sure can. This is my passcode. If there's a passcode on it, go ahead. But I'm like, Kara, just don't go to my Amazon. Yep. You might get scared. So
you can read my messages. You can look in my pictures. Just don't open my Amazon.
You might see why I'm broke.
Yep.
Okay, so do you think asking to see the person's phone means you don't trust them, or do you think that that's like just a routine thing that couples should do? Do you think trust needs verification, or do you think trust is blind?
I think trust is blind until it's seen otherwise. You give me a reason not to trust you, shit's way different. But if I trust you until I don't.
Exactly. I mean, your actions is going to tell me, like, within a couple of minutes after meeting someone in person, just watching the body language, because I read a person.
Yeah.
And so I can tell if you're lying to me. I can tell, you know what I'm saying? So if the first red flag I see, I will never trust you.
Yep.
Because once you break your trust with me, I don't care what you do. You can tell, I mean, you can change. You can be telling me the truth from here on out. I'll never trust you again. Because once they lie to you, they will always lie to you. The same thing as if they cheat on you. Once they cheat on you, they're always going to cheat on you. Once they get the first opportunity. Just saying.
Freaking Donna.
Donna, I know, right? Nobody needs to know how
me.
ratchet. I know, right? Like, I feel like my Instagram is probably like, if my mom or my family saw my Instagram, I would be embarrassed, right? Like, don't read that. Like, for real, stay off my page. Like, I totally agree. Like, some stuff is private, but I think that Sheila is worried about something that isn't there. I don't think that I feel like if David wanted to be with his ex or whatever, that's one thing, but he's all the way in another country to be with her. Yeah. And they've been talking for 4 years. I just don't feel like she has anything to worry about. And I know that's difficult because when you feel insecure, none of those words mean anything to you. It's a feeling that you have, and it's just something that you can't shake. But I definitely think that David set himself up, and he shouldn't have made that rookie mistake. You got to make, especially going in knowing that she's a jealous person and she can be insecure. Don't give her any reason to feel like you're doing anything wrong. Like, take anything out of your phone. Delete people out of your phone if they don't need to be there. Oh, I want to ask this question. Should he be in communication with any exes at all? So if you're in a relationship or if you're married, should friendship communication be allowed? Is that something? Because we're going to get into this with Gino and Jasmine too. So I just want to kind of open that up. How do you guys feel about communication with exes in a relationship?
Only if you have a child with that with your ex. But I think it should only be only to talk about that child. But if you have no child with your ex, then you don't have no reason to talk to him, in my book.
Exactly that.
Oh, so you're in agreement. Okay.
Like I said, ex means exit.
Yep.
So again, I noticed that Sheila looks very pregnant. She looked even more pregnant on this episode than she did last week.
Yep.
So I feel like we're going to get maybe an announcement at the end of the season, because I don't know how far off they filmed to where it is, or obviously at the tell-all, they're not going to be able to hide that. Like, we're going to have to know what's going on. But, I mean, we don't know that it's David's. Like, I hate to say that, but we don't know that. He literally just met her.
I mean, I feel like it can't be David's. You don't get pregnant with your mouth.
That's true. Donuts and bananas, right. That's true. That's true. Well, that opens up a whole different can of, so
maybe the banana broke the donut.
See, that's an interesting theory too, because we don't know what she was doing before she got there. We do not know. And see, I hadn't went that avenue in my mind, so now I'm thinking a million things at once now. Because they weren't intimate at first, and she said it was going to take time for her to be able to take that banana. So, now I'm beginning to wonder, because she's clearly, and I hate to call or say a woman is pregnant because I'm not an OBGYN, but based on that picture of her in that confessional, I think it's pretty obvious we can all agree that she's pregnant.
Yeah. Donuts, bananas, and Pregos, oh my.
Right? Like, this episode was a lot.
Yeah.
This was a lot.
It was a lot. Yeah, it was a lot. I was making all kinds of faces, and I'm like, what in the world am I watching?
I was
picturing DeeDee through the whole thing.
I was going to say, were you guys texting, DeeDee, were you texting Kara asking her what was going on? Like, because I know that.
I almost did. I was like, no, I'll just leave it for her show tonight.
So, Cleo and Christian have finally met, and it was nice. Like, Christian said that he didn't want to kiss when they first met, and he did kiss Cleo, but then he got a little weird afterward. Like, he was being really awkward, and I felt like I think he said it actually. He's like, now that I'm here, and this is like real life, now he's realizing that, he's dating a trans woman now. And I think online, that's one thing. In person, that's another thing. And I feel like he's definitely sending mixed signals, like kissing her, calling her beautiful, complimenting her. And then when they get to the house, he's like, well, I'm going to go to sleep now, and I don't want, to do anything. Like, it's very mixed. So, like, how do you feel? Do you feel like he's confused? Do you feel like he's nervous? Do you feel like this is just like day one jitters? Like, what's going on here? Because, you know, when Gino and Jasmine see each other, it's like all type of face licking, and it's crazy. So like, it's like two wild dogs, right? So this was not that type of meeting. So what do you guys think is going on?
I hate to say it, but I think he's getting cold feet really quick, and I think he's out. I think he checked out before he checked in.
Really?
I think
okay.
Because you know what it feels like to kiss the opposite sex. When you kiss the same sex, it has to be very different. And I realize that she's transgender and all of that. And I think he was going in for that kiss, and it didn't feel like he thought it was going to feel. And that was that. Because the kiss was passionate. The kiss looked like he wanted it. It was welcoming. It was warm. It was all the goods, all the feels. And then seconds later, he was like,
yeah,
you know,
I saw that. He like stood back and like looked at her like she was a stranger right after he kissed her. I saw that too. Because I was like, you're going to go in, hug, kiss each other, and then take 3 steps back like you don't want to stand next to her. That's weird, right? Like, what's the deal?
He checked
I
out.
think that, you know, once he got there and he had it different in his head, you know, how he was going to do everything. They kissed, like, you know, the kiss was passionate, and then it probably dawned on him, whoa, wait a minute, I just kissed the man.
Yeah.
And, you know, maybe we know that Cleo is transgender, but maybe in his mind he started thinking all of a sudden, oh wow, I just kissed a man. And that right there made him feel uncomfortable, because even whenever the producers were talking to him at the airport, he didn't even say anything.
Yeah.
And Cleo said that he is out of her league, and he's like, oh, that is sweet for you to say. How is that a sweet thing to say? That
only compliment he gave her 2 compliments. One was, I love your nose, and the second was, you look cute in her nightgown. That's it. There was no, you're just as beautiful as I thought you'd be. None of that. He just,
what does I love your nose mean?
Yeah.
That was a weird, like, no one's ever said that to me. Do I have an ugly nose? Because nobody's ever said that to me. Is my nose ugly? Just, y'all can be honest.
Nobody's ever said that to me.
No, George, you don't have an ugly nose.
Okay, thank you. I was like, now I'm going to have to do like this all day because I didn't know.
The cutest nose.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I do feel like he flipped the script in person. Like, I feel like he was so in love with her. He defended Cleo in every way to his friends. Everything about the negativity coming from family and friends, he defended her. And then when he got there, it's like he wasn't acting in the same defensive way to keep their relationship strong. Like I just felt like he was just like, he stood like three steps back from her in the airport. And I was like, what's the deal?
Yeah.
You think she don't smell good? Like, what's the deal? Why are you acting like that? That's not the way you treat somebody that you love.
Right.
Well, Cleo did say that he is afraid of how he's going to be judged, because a lot of people knows that she's transgender. So his anxiety is more of like, how's people going to look at me now? How, you know, the rumors that are going to be started, and how's people going to look at him and talk about him because he's with a transgender.
Yep.
So I think that is one thing. It dawned on him, oh wow, I'm with a transgender. How's people going to look at me now?
Yeah. Because, like, in real life, there's cameras, there's people there, and there's people in the airport. So now his actions are being judged. Online, on the phone, on FaceTime, your actions aren't being judged by people.
Exactly.
So now I feel like the realness in real life, in reality, like you said, it hit him. They're like, because when he kissed her, there are people in the airport. There are people who could see him doing that. And he's not ready. Yeah. And unfortunately, Cleo thinks that she's in a strong relationship with a good foundation, and she's with somebody who wants to experiment. That's all it is.
Yeah, she tells her cats, here's your daddy. And he's like, well, call me uncle. I mean, that had to be just like a blow. Yeah. That had to be such a blow.
Well, first he said cousin.
Yeah.
And Cleo shut it down. She's like, well, if we were cousins, we're related, so that's not going to work. You're not going to say that because I wouldn't have you would sleeping in my bed if we're just like related. We're supposed to be in a relationship. Own up to what we're in. Like cut that shit. And I feel that. Like she is not in an experiment. This is Cleo's life. She has come out as who she is. She's living as her true self. She's not taking any steps backwards. So if Christian is over there to experiment, I feel like that's horrible. It's horrible to put someone through that, especially someone who has autism, and especially someone who it took so much for her to come out as who she was. She was so terrified of how people would treat her and how life would be difficult. And then she does it, and then she gets somebody who's like, oh, that might be something interesting. I'll try that. And if I don't like it, I'll just go back to being straight. That's not fair at all. Like, if you didn't feel ready, don't get on the plane.
Yep. I agree.
Exactly. I mean, he's playing with her feelings, you know. She's already having to work on her self-esteem.
Yep.
So, you know, and then him going over there and acting the way he's acting, throwing all these what was the word she said? Mixed signals. I mean, it would confuse anybody.
Yeah.
Scott said, give Cleo my number. All right, Scott. I'm gonna do that. Okay, Scott, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna give her your number. Scott said give her your number. I'm gonna do it.
Oh, Scott.
Oh, and next week we saw a preview where Christian was talking to a group of ladies at the next table over. They were celebrating something. And okay, so my take, Cleo didn't like it because, okay, so when you're dating a woman, women don't ask for a lot. I mean, some people will disagree with me, but women don't ask for a lot when you're dating them. They just want you as the man or the person you're with to make them feel like they're the only person that you're paying attention to. I mean, you don't have to have a lot of money. You don't have to drive a Ferrari or a Lamborghini. A woman just wants to feel like she's the most important person in the room with you. And I feel like Christian did the opposite of that by going to talk to these women when he's supposed to be paying attention to Cleo. And I don't think that he meant anything by it. Like, I don't think that he was blatantly flirting with these women in her face, but you made it seem like she wasn't the only woman in the room. That's all women really ask for. You don't got to buy them a Louis bag. You don't buy them a Chanel bag. When you go out with her, make her feel like she's the only woman that you see. There could be 30 women in that room. Make her feel like she's the only one. That's all she wants. You don't even have to have $100 in your pocket. If you can make her feel important, loved, seen, and respected, you have that woman's heart. That's all that they're asking for, and I feel like that's where he went wrong.
Or he did it on purpose because he already checked out. So now he doesn't know how to leave, and he's going to make her break up with him. Done deal.
Yeah, that's true. That's an easy way, actually, because then it'll make it seem like it was Cleo's decision.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Good
That's
night,
probably
Scott.
why they're bringing in what's her name? Statler. That's Stater. Yeah, that's probably why they bringing in her.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I was hearing people say too. They were like, "Well, this is clearly ending," and then because I think this is the most couples we've had on one season before ever, right? On Before the 90 Days. So I think Tyray's story is going to end or disappear for a while because there's not as much footage, and then this story is probably, you know, Christian's going to probably get back on the plane at some point, go back home, and then we're not going to have any more interaction with them. So I think we didn't really have a ton of couples. It's just that the stories didn't pan out.
Yeah.
There wasn't 15 episodes worth of footage, so they had to add more people in to make sure that we had a full season of people.
When we could have a full freaking season of Jasmine and Gino, I don't even know.
So let's talk about that. So Jasmine has been in contact with Dane, who is her ex that she dated prior to Gino. And Gino, I think, knows because he was saying to one of her friends.
He knows now because of her friend.
Yeah.
Spilled the beans.
But he said that she was acting weird and he was kind of sensing something before he talked to her friend because she was being short. And you know, Jasmine's never short with anything. Everything turns into an argument. She's never had a shortage of words to yell at you. When it comes to Jasmine, if she's like yes or no, I would be very worried because when it comes to Jasmine, she's going to be screaming at you for hours.
Yep.
So now that he knows what's going on, he's questioning whether or not she's being faithful. Because it clicked on me today when she said that, well, when Gino said that, because we heard Jasmine say that she would have sex 4 times a day if she had her way. And it had been 18 months since Gino and Jasmine had seen each other last. How would someone who, I don't want to say she's addicted to sex, but who wants sex so much go 18 months without it? Because when Gino was there, she literally, like, I don't know if consent is involved. She, like, jumps his bones, right? Like, I feel like she has to have it. So how would she have gone that long without having something that she's told us she basically has to have as much as possible? Like, there isn't a number she could put on it. She would just have as much as someone would give her. So I think Gino is finally realizing, I'm beginning to think she's been cheating on me this whole time.
See, and I have so many thoughts about this. When she made the comment that she could talk to her ex because she knows how to separate the two and she's trustworthy and blah, 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 and Gino's not, I don't know about you, but from the outside looking in, I would think Gino is way less likely to cheat in the relationship. Way less likely.
Oh, yeah. I tweeted, when she said that, I said, I wholeheartedly believe when Gino says that he's been faithful to Jasmine, that he's been faithful to Jasmine.
Absolutely.
I wholeheartedly believe that. Like, I don't feel like Gino goes out to bars and meets women.
Not at all.
Like, I feel like Gino has zero game, okay? Don't get me wrong. I like Gino. Gino's a good guy. You know, he has a hat for every day, right? He has a sleeping hat, okay? Like, he's a good guy, but I don't feel like Gino is going out and bringing women home. I feel like women are very intimidating to Gino. Right? Like, I feel like when he's around Jasmine, he looks super intimidated, almost scared. Okay, like almost scared. So I don't feel like he is going out and cheating on her. But when it comes to Jasmine, and she said that, she's like, I'm more trustworthy and he's not. And I was like, but are you though? Because you're on a FaceTime call with your ex-boyfriend saying how your current fiance can't perform in bed. Like, I feel like that.
Living in the same freaking building and not telling Gino.
Yeah.
Your neighbors, for crying out loud.
That's the only reason why she wanted the apartment.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's
and can we talk about how she said that, I'm trying to get comfortable again, guys. And can we talk about how she was talking about that she was so glad that Dan, or however you pronounce his name, was on a family vacation because she didn't want him to run into Gino.
Yep.
And because Gino don't even know that they used to date. Well, then they didn't, but now he knows.
Yep.
And whenever she went back to the apartment, Gino asked her. She did tell him that she was texting, or not texting, but FaceTiming her friend Dane. But she did not tell him that is her ex. And she did not tell him that he lives a couple of doors down.
Yeah. Yep.
It wasn't until they went out with her friends that he asked her friend that speaks English, and she spilled the beans.
Yep. Also,
so now that's raising red flags.
Each other baby. She calls her ex baby. He calls her baby.
And did you hear whenever they hung up? She said, "I love you."
Yep, and kissy.
I didn't hear that part.
Yeah.
She said, I love you?
Yep.
I didn't listen to it. She's like, "Love you, baby. Watch it."
Oh, wow.
Yep.
I was like, wait a minute, what? She just said what?
Yeah.
So maybe.
And then even the producer was calling her a hypocrite.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. That's the definition of a hypocrite. If you can do something but someone else can't, that's a hypocrite. That's literally what you look it up in the dictionary. It's a double standard. You can do it, but other people can't. That's a hypocrite. Yeah. And the fact that if he would have done it, because, he was talking to his ex, and that's when, her pictures got sent, whatever, and she completely lost it. I'm not going to downplay that because he should have never sent those photos. I don't care what the situation was, but the fact that he was talking to the ex, taking the photo part of it out of it, she flipped out. Like, it got violent. So I think that the fact that she's like, well, I can do it because I'm Jasmine, but he can't do it because he's Gino. I don't know. I don't like that. I feel like in a relationship, everybody is created equal, and everyone can do. I feel like there shouldn't be restrictions in a relationship that you both don't agree on.
Yeah.
Like, one person can't say, well, you're restricted from doing these things. I feel like it's a conversation. Like, or it goes both ways. Exes are not allowed in the picture, and it goes both ways. It can't just be one-sided restrictions in the relationship. So Jasmine we didn't get any more last will and testament talk this week.
Yeah.
So, but I know she's not going to let that go.
Yeah.
And as we continue on in the season, I'm just starting to see like so many different things that I didn't notice about her.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys are doing this too, right? Like I'm just seeing so many different character traits that I just didn't notice in the past seasons. And they're all like smacking me across the face one after the other. Like every time she does something, I'm just like, man, I didn't think of Jasmine this way until this season. And now I feel like I don't even know her. I mean, I don't know her in real life anyway. Like, I don't even know who she is. I feel like when I was defending her a lot, I don't know if it was warranted anymore. I feel like that.
Too. Me too. But also, one thing I want to say is when she's talking about trustworthy and this and that, Gino, even if he cheated, he would be the easiest person in the world to catch. When he's lying or he's nervous, his voice goes up 12 octaves. Also, what's the weird shit he does with his mouth all the time? Stretches his eyes, rubs his nose, and he's constantly licking his teeth. Like, he does it every time he's nervous. She could catch him so easy if he's lying.
Yeah. I don't think Gino is bold enough to cheat on Jasmine because I feel like Jasmine would destroy him. Like, I don't think he's bold enough. Like, after the picture situation and she came at him, I think he literally is terrified to do anything. Like, I think that he definitely learned his lesson. You know how some people say, you know, if he cheated on you, make sure that he's punished for what he did. He learned that. Gino learned his lesson.
Yeah.
He's not going to be sending no pictures. He's not going to be talking to anybody behind her back. Gino knows that's something that you don't do. You don't cross her. I just wish it was an equal situation. Like, I feel like she feels like she has him in her back pocket and she can just do whatever she wants. And then he has to, you know, adhere to her rules. Because remember on the first season we met them, he had to like report to her. Like he had to share his location. He had to say when he was leaving the house, where he was going, had to FaceTime her when he was in a restaurant if there were other women present. You know, like I feel like she's literally living 2 doors down from a guy that she says I love you to, that she used to be intimate with. But you had to know when he was picking up his chicken from the restaurant. Like, I don't know. Like, it's just, it doesn't equal the same thing to me.
Yeah. She had to show her the clerk, and he said, "Thank you. Have a good evening." And she flipped shit and said, "Why are you being nice to her? Why are you flirting with her?"
And did y'all catch also when they were exercising, she promised him that she would not fuss every day, but in return, she wants more sex, and he didn't answer. He answered with, "Are we done yet?"
Yeah. But he was doing his
cut
face.
her, like he shut her down
He was
real fast.
And stretching his face and rolling his eyes. The whole nervous thing I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
He did that through that whole conversation.
I feel like he's beginning to see what her intentions are. And he's not the type of person, because, you know, there's some men, they can sleep with anybody in any situation.
Yeah.
They're just dogs, right? Like, they don't even care. That woman could be married. Somebody could have just died. Like, those men are just dogs. They can do whatever. I think Gino is like a emotional person. His mental mindset has to do with whether or not he wants to be intimate. And I think that now that he's kind of seeing her, kind of like me, like I'm seeing her differently.
Yeah.
I feel like Gino is seeing her differently as well. Like, it's been little things, and I think he's finally catching the big picture. And I think when it was about his retirement and the prenup and how she wants, you know, money and the will, I think that sex is the last thing on his mind, because he's kind of thinking about, well, if we get married, what am I getting myself into? What are going to be the repercussions of me not having a prenup? What is actually going to happen if things don't work out? Because I think now, at first, I don't think he had any doubts that they were really in love, but I feel like now the doubts are high. Like, I feel like all of the things that he's seeing finally transparent, because I feel like he used to be blinded by, you know, the boobs, the face, the body, and I feel like he's finally seeing past all that, and he's catching the red flags that he missed.
But I also feel like there's a large part of Gino that is terrified to just be done with it. Like, I think he's trying to figure out in his head how to cut ties. But I'm sure he's thinking, okay, so when we are together, you know, she knows where I sleep, so on and so forth. But when we're not together, She knows my exact location. She can probably see what I text. She can probably see what I look up on the internet. She can probably see what I'm thinking about and what I'm dreaming about and what I'm eating. And she's probably got these powers. She scares the shit out of him.
Yeah.
And you can see it.
I can see it. When she's standing over him, he shakes. He's like terrified. And that's no way to be in a relationship. And it goes both ways. If a man is intimidating towards a woman too, that's not a way to be in a relationship. If the person makes you feel uneasy, uncomfortable, and scared, you're not in a relationship. You're basically in, I don't want to call it abusive, but you're in a situation where somebody has way too much power and control over you, and you don't feel like you have a say or a voice. That's not a relationship. It's not healthy. And I think that until Gino, I know Gino tried to find his voice in the beginning of the season. He's like, I got to start standing up to her. And I got to start, telling her that she can't walk all over me. But at the same time, he's scared. He's terrified of what she might do or say. And I think that he's invested so much time and money into this. Walking away is scary, because
I also think he doesn't want, if he were to walk away, he would have to tell his family. You guys are right. And I don't think he wants to do that because his family's been right all along.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they were like, she's using you for your money. She wants a green card. She's not in it for the long haul. And I don't know. I disagree with them at first. But like now, as we go through the season, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of things that I see now that I didn't see the first time they were on the show.
I'm with you 100%. You and I were both like, I like Jasmine. I think she's a great woman. Now it's like, holy cow, who is this woman?
Right? I know. Like, I feel like she's a completely different person in her body. Like, this season, like...
So you two are saying that I was right all along? Am I hearing that?
Yeah. That is what you said from the beginning. Yeah.
I feel like...
Every time I said I liked her, you rolled your eyes at me. I remember. You were just like her, why? She's using him. I remember. You were right. I didn't see it, though. I feel like she's really shown her true colors now. Like, I feel like she really made it seem like, and she played the victim a lot in the first season. Like, I felt like Gino was the bad guy and she was just the innocent lady that got caught up in his shit. But like, I can see that's not the full story. Like, that is part of what happened. That's not the full story of what happened. And we're really getting a good scope of her plan and her intentions. And it's like, I don't know if I like her intentions. I feel like at first I thought she fell in love with this goofy dude that, it's like opposites attract situation where you see them and you're like, oh, wow, she wants to be with him. But you guys informed me that this guy is a millionaire. Yeah. He has at least $1 million and he has a retirement and he has all this. Now the picture has become way more clear for me. And I can see it's not the fact that she's in love with this goofy hat wearing guy. There's other intentions there. And that's what's making it hard for me to understand, because it's like Gino has to know that she has other intentions. And I didn't realize that she knew about this money the whole time. Because I remember I was talking to you guys and I was like, well, maybe she didn't know about these investments and his retirement all this whole time, but she did. She did know about it because she had told him in the past there would be no prenup. So she knew all along. And like, I think, Kara, you reminded me, a sugar baby website or app is where they met. So he never was presented to her as a guy who didn't have any money. So I missed the little clues along the way that you guys caught on to. So I was like, this is not a relationship that he's going to want to be in. Because, I mean, you could be in it, but when it ends, that's where the shit's going to go down. She's going to take it.
After the episode aired tonight, do you think she's pissed off at Gino or pissed off at her friends that said, Gino's not a bad looking guy. He also looks pretty good from the backside.
Oh, yeah, she did say that. Yeah. So I don't know. I feel like...
Is she pissed at her friend or is she pissed at Gino? I bet
probably
she's pissed at Gino.
Yeah, probably Gino. It's always
she's probably going to take it out on Gino. I don't think she would say anything to her friends at all. I mean, I really don't. She's probably going to say that Gino was flaunting it and it's his fault that they were looking at him.
Yeah.
I think the friends probably know what her plan is, right? I feel like they know.
Definitely.
That
I don't know. I mean, what kind of a friend, unprovoked, brings up in front of the guy you just met, did you use the butt plugs I just bought you? Who brings that up at dinner? in front of the guy you just met.
That was crazy.
Yeah, that was.
That's not dinner conversation. Is that any conversation to have? Like,
Gino was horrified.
No.
Gino was horrified.
Yeah, Gino shut that down real quick. Real quick.
Yeah.
so what do you think is gonna happen? Do you think that they're gonna make it and they're gonna get married and she's gonna come to Michigan? Obviously, I think we know the answer to that, but like, hypothetically speaking, do you guys think that, or is she gonna come here with no prenup and then, because I think that's her plan, right? The plan is to come here with no prenup, with her name on the will. And I think I said last week to Gino, don't eat anything or drink anything, because if you're making her the sole beneficiary of your will, that's weird. You know, just make sure you're checking all your food and your drinks, because that's not something.
I think she's coming here, and I think while she's here, I think there's not going to be a prenup, but I also think there's not going to be a wedding.
No wedding. Okay.
Yeah, I think.
Well, how can she?
She's coming here on the K-1 visa. They've got 90 days to get married. The family's going to step in and say, don't do this. She's going to lose her mind. She's going to be headed home, and Gino's going to be heartbroken and sad and relieved and still alive.
Yeah, that's the most important part. Oh, lady in Panama wanted to say, did we notice the look on Jasmine Friend's face when Gino asked if she would cheat on him? I didn't catch that. Did anyone see the facial reaction?
Yeah, she was like,
yeah, and she kept telling Juana, right, I would never do it, right. I was like, oh my gosh.
Oh, so she has been. I mean, I had to think that.
She's making it obvious. She keeps telling on herself. I mean,
well, her friends
she told on herself even more tonight.
Her friends are bad at keeping secrets, right? Like, with friends like that, who needs enemies?
Yeah.
They're just giving away everything. Like, come on, if you got my back, you got my back. Don't tell everybody everything, because at this point, the friends are just spilling everything, and it's like, whose side are you on? It's almost like they're on Gino's side at this point.
Yeah.
No, well, I mean, to answer your question, I think I could be wrong, but I think that, I mean, we already know she's in Michigan. I mean, we already know. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's everywhere. It's no secret. But I think Gino made her sign the prenup to agree to bring her over here, is what I'm thinking. But I don't think if they get married, I'm going to be very surprised. I don't think it's going to get to that. But I do believe that for him to not reverse the K-1 visa, that I'm thinking maybe he put that over her head. I'll reverse it if you don't sign it.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, that's true.
I mean, that's what I'm thinking. I could be wrong, but I don't think Gino's stupid enough not to get something signed before she came over here. That'd be stupid of him. And then him finally and his family find out about it. That would tear that man in shreds.
But the problem is the prenup wasn't Gino's idea. It wasn't ever even on his radar. That was his family's idea.
Yeah.
So that's what makes me nervous, is that he could just be like,
well, right.
Yeah.
He didn't want it in the first place, so him fighting with her over it was a fight that wasn't really for him, because the family wanted it, not him. So he was so quick to say, you know what, I'm going to let it go. Because even Jasmine was at the table. She's like, I just shut up because I was just going to sign it. And he said he didn't want it, so she won. He was so quick to give it up because, like you said, it wasn't his fight. That was what his family said that he needed to do. So when she gave him such an issue, he's like, well, do I want to make my family happy or do I want to make myself happy?
Yeah.
No, he chose himself. But bringing her here without one when he has so much money, like, it would be
not
stupid.
only that, not only the money, but I mean, he's already finding out that she's cheating on him. And we still got to see the huge fight between them.
Yeah.
Where she admits that she's cheating on him. Yeah. So, I mean, if he brought her over here without something signed, then he deserves everything she gives him.
Yep.
She earned it.
My opinion.
Right? Yeah. I feel like she earned it. She played her cards right. You know, when you go to the casino and you play your cards right, you win. I feel like that's what she did. She played her cards right. It might not be right morally, but I feel like she played the game. And if she gets over here without a prenup, she won the game. unfortunately, Gino lost.
Yeah.
But that's just how the game works, right? Bird's right.
Either that or there was no prenup involved. They did the K1. He got her here, let her see how beautiful America is, decide if that's something she wants to be in. And now she does. So now if you want to get married, now you have to sign the prenup or you got to go.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
That's
Yeah,
good
you beat me
enough.
to it, Cara. Before any kind of marriage, there has to be a prenup. So, yeah.
I mean, like you said, once she's here, that's good leverage because if you don't marry her within the 9 days, she has to go back home. Once you're here and you see the opportunity and what you can have, she's not getting on anybody's airplane. You know, she's gonna stay put where she is. Oh, Portuguese Princess says, if she's in Michigan, is Gino still paying for Jasmine's sister's apartment? It's a good question because Jasmine's sister has been living with her for years. So that is a really good question. I'm going to say probably not the $3,000 one, but I'm pretty sure Gino, that was part of the deal. She's not going to leave her sister homeless. I guarantee you he's paying for her to stay somewhere.
But what about her kids? What about her kids?
Well, the kids, I believe, have always stayed with the dad, right?
Yeah. But
is that what happened?
What is this that I'm seeing on social media that that she is not her sister, that's her daughter?
I've seen that too. I've seen that too because her sister looks really young. That was the first thing I thought when Gino first met her on the other season when he met her at the grandmother's house.
Yep.
It's like this sister seems super young for her mom to have had her 14 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, that's really odd to me. You might be onto something. The internet might be onto something. It could be that the dad didn't want the daughter on the show because we kind of did this with Darcy and Stacey, with Stacey's sons.
Yeah.
They didn't want him on the show. And then one of the sons finally turned 18 and he was able to be on the last season that just aired a few months ago. So it could be she put her on the show and then didn't say who she really was. I don't know, but that's been going around. And I said that too because I was like, Jasmine's mom had a child like 14 years ago. That seems really strange to me. Like, I'm not saying it's not possible, but you know, like in your 50s or late 50s, are you really having children? You know, like, I don't know.
I agree. I agree. I think it's the daughter.
It probably is. And that's,
I mean, I've always thought it was the daughter, but I mean, I do know people that's in their late 40s, early 50s still having children. So it didn't really raise a red flag. But now that she's got older, you know, now she's looking even more like Jasmine.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm seeing it now, you know.
Yep.
Yeah, I think
never know.
That's true. And if that is her daughter, you think that she'll bring her over here if things work out? Because she had her with her in Panama, so I wonder if she can file the paperwork and bring her. How does that work if you have children? Because the K1 visa is just for you, right? Or are your children included? How does that work? I don't even know.
I think the children are included because, I mean, that would have to be. I would think. I don't know. I'm gonna have to do some research on that.
We have to look that up because I don't know. We've never really seen people come over with a small child before, have we?
No.
Yes. So I'm curious if she would have to like file separate paperwork or whatever. I know once she gets her citizenship card, you can file petitions for family members, and I know immediate children are the fastest.
Yeah. Well, now I do remember not to bring this person up, you know, because nobody really likes him. But whenever Rose and Big Ed was on the 90 Day Fiancé.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now they did say that Rose was coming over, but then he would, after they were married, then he had to apply for her son so they could bring him over. So who knows?
So
I do remember that.
See, okay, so it's not immediate.
But Rose didn't have custody of her son. The dad did.
Yeah.
True, but I mean, even if she did have custody of him, from my understanding, they had to be married before they could even apply to bring her little boy over here.
Well, Donna said 20 years ago they wouldn't even let her bring her dog when she came. So
Yeah.
it's probably, I don't know, that seems crazy and heartless to separate a mom from their child. But I guess in actuality, it would be the mom's decision,
Yeah.
not immigration, right? Because I guess if you want to get into the bigger picture, the mom is deciding to leave,
Right.
not immigration. But still, that has to be hard. Because, you know who else? Larissa came over, and she had small children, too. I don't think she ever did bring her kids with her, though.
Mm-mm.
But she had small kids, too, and she didn't bring them over. But I don't think she had custody of them at the time. So,
No.
we don't really have any concrete evidence of if you can or can't. But I'm beginning to think that you can't bring them right away.
I really don't know. I'm going to have to look into that deeply.
Yeah, we'll figure it out, and we'll talk about that on the next one, just so we can get a little idea of that. Because I think that probably really is her daughter. I'm almost positive. I'm like 80% sure that it's her daughter. But she has 2 kids, right?
I think so. I think she has 2 girls.
Yeah, so I wonder where the other daughter is. Maybe the dad has one and she has the other situation, whatever. But yeah, as she gets older, she's definitely Jasmine's twin.
Yeah.
Like, it's so obvious that, I mean, it could be her sister. We could be wrong, but I'm like 80% sure that's her daughter. The age matches for Jasmine. Like, it doesn't really match for her mom. So why she doesn't want to tell us who she is, maybe we'll figure that part out in the future.
Yeah.
Because that's an interesting thing, too, because no one really pretends that their child is their sister unless there's a reason, So maybe we'll figure that out.
Yep, for sure. So
there's no telling.
So who did we not talk about? I think we talked about everyone, right?
Yep.
Oh yeah,
So.
because this week we got Misha and Nicola, Amanda and Razvan, and Tyree, Carmela / Christian. Next week there's like some more juicy tea about Carmela, and it turns out that it's not just escorts, it's raunchier than that. Maybe we're moving into the porn realm, I think is where we're going now. So I don't know. This is getting more and more interesting, and we're still working up to the fact that the catfish supposedly is going to meet Tyree.
Yeah.
So we're still working our way up towards that. So I'm really interested in that. This is the first time we really get a real catfish story on the show. We've gotten a little taste of them here and there with what was his name? Caesar, and what was her name? Lana, I think.
Yolanda,
Maria. Yeah. But
Maria. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is Maria.
And Maria wouldn't meet him at all.
Yeah.
She just kept taking the money and then ghosting him. So if he actually shows up, if Christian shows up, this will kind of be a first, right?
Yep.
Because with David Murphy, and I think her name was Lana, she showed up and she was actually real. She was basically just like, because he used to pay to chat with her or whatever on the little chat.
Yeah.
She was the real catfish, though.
Right, exactly. Yeah. She was the girl in the picture.
Yeah.
It was just, he had to pay like a fee just to even text her.
Yep.
So it was a game for her as well, but she actually showed up. So if Christian shows up, this will be the first time a real catfish shows up to be filmed. Oh yeah, Yolanda and the Williams. Why did I pick up the Williams? And and we did get a video of the Williams saying that it wasn't him.
Yeah.
Which was cool too. But all right, so next week, tomorrow is the premiere of the new season of The Other Way, which is my favorite one, because I love to see Americans try to believe that they can live in another country and adapt to other ways of life when they can't. Because I know for a fact if you send me to another country and try to let me adapt to it, I'm going to cry my eyes out and I'm going to complain because I'm not built for that.
Yeah.
So I love watching the Americans go over there and they're like, oh, I'm going to live in Cambodia and I'm going to do all that. And I'm like, no, you're not. You're going to be back on the next thing smoking in 3 weeks.
Yep.
But I'm going to watch you struggle, right? I'm going to watch you struggle for the whole season.
We're going to watch you struggle and we're going to talk about it.
Exactly. So I'm excited for that. So make sure you guys join us. We're going to talk about that tomorrow night. We'll have first impression for the cast that we meet tomorrow night on the show. Thank you for DeeDee and Kara for joining me on this episode of the podcast. And this will be posted onto my page and everywhere you get your podcast at the George Mossey Show on any streaming service. And I think that's it. Thank you guys. Everybody have a good night. Hope you had a good weekend, and we'll see you all tomorrow for the premiere of The Other Way. And a month from then, I believe, is when The Last Resort. Somebody just asked, August 14th, 90 Day Fiancé Last Resort. And interesting, Molly and Kelly are featured on that. So I'm super interested in that because, you know, there was just recently a warrant issued for him. So there's a lot of drama that we're going to be getting into. You know, we like drama here at the George Mossey Show.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll be here to talk about that too. All right, guys, we'll talk to you guys tomorrow night. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you later.
Have a good night. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.